Okay, we're still missing a lot of people. Who are we missing? No, we're missing a lot of people. We're missing Chris. We're missing who else? We're missing Mike. We're missing. Huh.
Yeah, I'm going out of town right now.
Okay. Bye, Madison. We'll miss you.
Yeah.
You're still going, maybe?
Let me see. You're in luck. Okay, everyone, we are going to get started. How many people are we missing, Jonathan? Can you see on attendance?
What did you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 15. I think we usually have like 25.
Yeah, we're missing a lot of people. Where's everyone?
Jackie's out of town.
I was gonna fist on you. You just felt right by. It's like, all right, now then let's have roll.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 23 people. So that's 24th. Is Adrian here?
No.
Not here. Chris? Always late. 100%. Fabian is here.
Oh, yeah, Fabian's out of town. Here's Jose. Welcome. Okay. Yay, Jose. Made it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Today, we're going to be talking about scraping with Mongo. So we only had a short little bit of introduction to Mongo last class, but that's okay because we'll be learning more about it in coming weeks. So today, as we did before with SQL, we're going to be plugging Mongo into our Node.js apps. And to do that, similarly to what we did with SQL, we're going to be using a couple different attachments for Node that plug into Mongo. So first, we're going to use something called Mongo.js, which is a very simple library to connect Mongo to your Node apps. It is called, Mongo.js, and we'll get to the exercises and stuff in a second. Then in the coming weeks, we'll be using something else, which is a lot more useful, called Mongoose, which is sort of a little bit more like an ORM. It's a little bit more like SQLized, but it's a lot less confusing because it's Mongo. So it's already the JavaScript data structure.
So Mongoose is like Mongo.js? I'm sorry.
No, Mongo. So there are a couple of times. Remember how in SQL week we had first we used the SQL npm package, and then after that we used SQLize. We're kind of going to do the same thing here. We're going to start with the Mongo.js npm package, and then we're going to move on to the Mongoose package, which is a little bit more sophisticated. It has a few more features. So I guess we're just starting with the simpler one first.
So we need some kind of ORM for Mongo.
It's not exactly an ORM, but it's kind of similar to the ORM. It's a more full-featured Mongo.js library for Node. It's a.
But it's not considered ORM.
No, it's not considered an ORM. Okay. Class content. Okay, scraping. Actually, okay, this one.
I didn't call it that. You don't put words in my mouth. I'll say something stupid on my own, but you don't put one in there for me.
Oh my God.
Okay, so we have a few different examples here. So we'll start with example number 1. So as I said, this is using a library called Cheerio. Cheerio is a library for scraping. That isn't what you used yet, or it was. Okay, I still have to look at your project. But I will do that. So we're using request. Some of you guys used request, I think, for your apps. It just makes HTTP requests. Sorry, it makes HTTP requests from your Node application, similarly to the way we make HTTP requests over Ajax from the front end using jQuery. Does this part make sense to anyone? Any questions on request, what it does? I think some of you guys have used it and some of you haven't. So is anyone not familiar with request and what it does? Madison? Oh, we did use request. So everyone's familiar with request. Everyone remembers what it does. Okay, good. Okay, so we have the URL that we're going to request. It's going to be the web dev Reddit. Then, as you guys are used to seeing, we have a callback function. The callback function takes 3 different arguments. It takes the error, then it gives you the response, and then it gives you the HTML. The response is the HTTP response code, I believe. So, welcome, Mike. Yeah.
I'm a brownie instead of
Okay. So as you can see, we made this $sign variable and set it to Cheerio, which is our library that we're using for scraping, .load the HTML. So the HTML we're declaring here is an argument to our callback function, and then we're just passing it into the load method of Cheerio, and we're setting this to equal our $sign. And then what we're able to do with this is we can then use jQuery-like selectors to select different parts of the HTML within the HTML document that we just pulled down. Does everyone see how that works? So we're requesting the web dev Reddit, right? It pulls it down. Then we use Cheerio so we can go through it and parse the DOM tree easily. jQuery, as you guys remember, allows us to parse the DOM tree easily, right? We can just use CSS selectors. It's very natural. We can get to exactly the right HTML elements we want to without too much fuss. You guys all remember how that part works, right? Yes? No? Yes? Maybe so? Okay. So we're doing the same thing here. We're pulling down our HTML document. Then we're using this jQuery style HTML selector to select the HTML element we want. In this case, what kind of HTML element is it?
P tag.
P with the class of title.
P with the class of title, exactly. And we're selecting all of the P classes with or all of the P tags with the class of title, and then we're going to iterate over each one of them. We are going to set a title variable to the text of the P tag. We're going to set a link variable to the children with an attribute of href. Is this what this is doing? This is not the way I should.
So Cheerio.load grabs the HTML that you get back, and it basically loads it into a $sign, which is like representing kind of like jQuery.
Yeah.
So then you could do jQuery functions on that.
Right, but I'm saying specifically here, this children.attribute. So you're getting the children of your individual P tag, and then you're getting the attribute href.
Right.
So you're getting, but this is not really a good way to do it, and that's why I got confused. You would want to do like children x0 or something, because there might be many link tags.
Well, you're going through the dot each above it.
Yeah, but when you get the children, then you have to iterate over all the children too, because that's another array. Yeah, so this is kind of not the greatest example, but it will still work because there's only one A tag.
Maybe you
imaginably.
$sign element dot children dot each.
Or just if you want the first one, you could do x0 because it looks like they're just trying to get the first one.
Yeah, I think link becomes an array of links. I don't remember.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just the first one. Well, we'll see what it does. So let's go ahead and run this. Does any questions on this? Does everyone see kind of on a broad, high level what this is doing? Yes? No? Questions? Want me to explain it again? Okay. Let's go ahead and run it.
So each of the server files just goes over a different way of accomplishing the same thing.
What does each of the server files do? I think we have 3 different examples that's showing us different
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
No, they're 3 different websites.
Yeah,
First
3
one's
different
Reddit, second, I
websites.
think,
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
boards, and third one is, I don't know, but-
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's whack. I can't see anything.
So it's grabbing everything from Reddit's board, and you can see it's showing us each link. Is there a what? Not for this. But we can go ahead and take a look at this URL we're scraping just to see what it's doing. So typically when you guys write your scrapers, you're going to do this backwards. You're first going to go look at the website in your browser, inspect the elements, figure out which elements you want to scrape, and then you'll go and write the CSS selector to get to that element.
There's a cool tool called Selector Guide. Click on stuff and it tells you. You can click on different stuff and it tells you different tags that apply to all.
Interesting. It will just let you copy the CSS selector from Web Inspector too, which is useful. So let's see what we've got here. So you can see each of these P tags is the article or is the topic that someone posted. Yay, Adrian's here. Okay, well, I don't know where this P tag is that they're trying to find, but it's probably some. Would you know which ones the P tags are that they're scraping? Is it this?
Yep. Beginner's question.
That seems to be an H2.
Oh, because you're using, so that happened with Vlad. So some people have the new design for Reddit.
Yeah.
Some people have the old design. With the new design, they prevented web scraping by creating random class names that they change every single day. So instead of title, you get, EFBB file.
Yeah, a lot of websites are doing
so
that now.
that you would have to update your scraper every single day to match the new classes and IDs and stuff.
When did that change
So-
take effect?
Huh?
It's still taking effect. But it
Right, because
hasn't
the
been-
scraper, it's returning the old version of Reddit. Because you've probably gone on that one with the new, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, there's probably doing like A/B testing where some
Exactly.
people get sent to one version,
Exactly.
people get sent to the other.
Like, I still get the old Reddit Vlad was getting a new one. So
Well, if we want to test this, can't we just click the thing that says visit the old route?
yeah.
Yeah, but we also have 2 other examples, so we should be good.
Those two should work fine.
Okay, so let's take a look at what we're doing here. What site are we scraping here, everyone? National Hockey League. Yay, Madison. Yeah, what's hockey? No, I'm just kidding. I used to play hockey, actually.
What are you talking about?
I'm kidding.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, but they're out now, so.
Okay, so pretty much the same thing. We have our request, we have the URL we're going to, we have our callback function, takes 3 args, error, response, HTML. We're going to take the HTML response, we're going to pass it into Cheerios load method, set it to equal a $, then we use the $, just like it's jQuery. We're putting an empty array for our results. Then we're going to iterate over the h4 tag with the class headline link. We're going to set a title variable to the element's text. We're going to set a link variable to the element's parents attribute href. Very similar. Then we're going to push to our results both things. Then we console log the results. Everyone see how that works? Any questions on this at all? Concerns? Yeah, Russ. That's a good question. Usually with sign-ins, they're a bit more complicated because they'll use things like cookies, session storage, a bunch of different stuff, even browser fingerprinting, which is a bit more complicated. It actually uses HTML canvas. And so HTML canvas is actually different on every browser. So they have a way to actually fingerprint each specific browser using HTML canvas. So a lot of sites that use logins use that. So it's kind of hard to fool. The only real way is to use something like a headless browser in order to do that, like Phantom.js. That's probably your best bet. But it depends what type of authentication they're using and what type of site it is. It could be that it's a simple authentication system that's pretty easy to scrape. Any other questions on this? Martha, you see how this is working? Yeah? So, okay, so you don't see how this is working. Okay. Okay. Guys, don't make me start doing laptops down again. Thought we were past this. Okay, next exercise. Oh, sorry, Gretel. Is there any documentation on how to use this? Limitation? Like legally? Legally? Yes. Yes, there is. I am not a lawyer. I don't know the ins and outs of it. It depends how people license their content, what the copyright is, all of that good stuff. There's also like fair use things. The laws concerning most things with digital stuff, websites are somewhat arcane and confusing, so it's very difficult to navigate. So really just use your best judgment is the best thing I can tell you. But it depends really what site it is. Like what site are you thinking of scraping? Yeah, I'm sure plenty of people scrape Craigslist. That's fine. You won't get in trouble for that. Wants to scrape what? Yeah, that, okay. Let me know how that works for you. They do a lot of crazy stuff to stop people from pirating their videos and downloading it. If you ever look at your network tab when you're watching Netflix, you'll see that there's little video bit after little video bit, and they name them funny things, and they come from weird places to make it really, really hard for people to try to reverse engineer their system. Did anyone watch the video I sent out, by the way, about hackers and freakers? Yes, that one. I didn't send it to @channel though. Yeah, it's got Steve Wozniak. It's all about phone freakers, how they got started, which was really the beginning of computer hacking and really the beginning of all of this stuff that we're doing here today. It all started with the phone systems long before they had computers. And it started actually with blind people who had perfect pitch, who were able to whistle at 26 hertz, which was the frequency they needed to break into the phone system. Because the phone system used to have what was called in-band dialing, which meant that the band that they used for their messaging was the same as you used for the call. So if you whistled into it just right, you could make your phone do all kinds of crazy things and make calls to Italy and China.
That is so easy.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have to watch this. A really good watch. It talks about Wozniak. It talks about Bill Gates and how they got into a kind of an argument very early on. Yeah, it's a really interesting watch. I recommend you guys watch it. But let's get back to this. So when we run this, what's going to happen? We should do what? Sorry. We should get all the information back. It's going to go to the site. It's going to pull down all the HTML. We're going to iterate over it. We're going to loop through it. We're going to get all the image links. We're going to, oh no, that's the wrong one. Yeah, we're going to pull down the H4s with a headline link class. We're going to iterate over them. We're going to get their title. We're going to get their link. We're going to make it into an object, then push it to an array. Then we're going to log this whole array of result objects. Everyone see how that works? Let's try it out. Okay, same thing. So let's go to this website and maybe it will be easier to see how they're scraping it. Going to get a lot harder to scrape websites in the coming years because more and more people are going to be using these grunt and gulp plugins that obfuscate your code so that the CSS classes and IDs will change every time.
Say that again.
So the grunt and gulp are what are called task runners. We're going to learn about them later. What they do is they compress your CSS. If you're using less or Sass, they interpret the less and Sass into CSS, then they compress it. They remove all of the line breaks because line breaks take up file size, right? They take up space, so and there's no need for them. So we remove all the line breaks, we remove the extra spaces, convert the less and Sass to regular CSS. Then you can also make it take an extra step of changing all of your IDs and CSS classes for you and making it continue to change them. So we'll change them in the CSS and also in the corresponding HTML. This way it stops people from being able to scrape your site.
What word did you find that?
Obfuscate. Obfuscate? Yeah, that just means make it obscure.
You also want to be able to scrape anything that's client-side generated, like any AJAX calls, any like React stuff like that, because the scraper doesn't load any of that. It doesn't have a JavaScript runner or anything. So if the HTML isn't already there when the page is loaded, you won't be able to scrape it.
Say that again? Sorry, I wasn't.
Like if there's like JavaScript that puts in the HTML, like an AJAX request, the scraper would.
Yeah, you won't be able to scrape it in that case, and that's when you need the headless web browser like Phantom.js. Most websites, you really need a headless web browser to scrape properly.
Is this to help prevent counterfeit websites, or
What part exactly? What Jonathan just said?
Making scraping much harder in general.
No, I think it's just it hurts companies are getting hurt by scraping. One, they have to pay for the servers. Every time a scraper hits their server, they have to pay the money for it. So it costs them money for that reason. Also, they don't want to make their content available to third parties to make apps with.
Generally, scrapers will be malicious, so they'll make like a bunch of accounts and then do a bunch of stuff that they're not supposed to. It's good for like leaving reviews or like that's why they have like CAPTCHA stuff that proves you're not a robot. The scrapers on.
Yeah, it's that, and they may just want to protect their content too, because people make apps from people scrape sites and make apps. Like there's like 100 different apps for Hacker News because they don't have their own app. Right. Okay, so NHL.com, we're gonna look for h4.headline link. This looks like a h4.headline link. H4, that's a a.headline link. Yeah. Well, anyway, we got the idea. You guys will have to figure out how to make this stuff work on your own. And you can pick any tag or whatever as long as you can make it work. let's take a look at our one last example. It's awwawards.com. And here we're going to look for the figure.rollover. So figure is an HTML5 tag. Some of you may not have seen it. Okay, so here's our figure.rollover. So everyone see what they're doing in this example? We know that our figure tag with the class of rollover has the stuff in it that we want to scrape. So here in our scraper, we are using the figure.rollover inside this jQuery-like selector. Then we're going to iterate over each of these. We're going to get out relevant information using a jQuery style of syntax. This uses find. Do you guys all remember the find method for jQuery? Anyone not remember what that does? Okay, so what this does is it finds all the tags that match a given CSS selector within all the tags that match this given CSS selector. So this will be the one element from our list of figure.rollovers. So for this one figure.rollover, we're going to go inside of it and find all of the A tags. Then we're going to go inside each of those A tags and find all of the image tags inside of them. Then we're going to get all of their attribute data source set. Then we're going to split it on a comma. I guess they have some weird, and then split it again to get the image. So let's figure out exactly what they're doing here. Because a lot of scraping is just sort of knowing how to use jQuery, knowing how to manipulate the DOM, knowing how to go move around in the DOM and find the stuff you need. So you'll see they have these images here, but here's the thing. They're using JavaScript in a funny way to move in that source tag. So I'm guessing in the plain HTML, there's no source tag. And then they just load it with this source set attribute. And we want the first item in this source set, because this source set attribute is a list of URIs for images, right? We just want the first one in the image. So that's what this is saying. It's saying get all of the figure.rollovers. Then for each one, get every single A tag inside of it. Then get every image tag inside of that. Then find this data source set attribute that they're using to populate the image source programmatically with JavaScript on the front end. We're going to go get the value of this attribute, and then we're going to get the first one of these things in the list. Does everyone see how that works? Anyone not see how that works? Because this is important. Yeah.
Jumped over the box last time, so he's looking every single child.
Yeah, it's looking through every single child. So sorry, ask your question again, Russ, specifically. Yeah, so it's going to find every A tag within figure, and then I think it's going to find every IMG within every A tag. It does, because it's not finding direct descendants. It's finding any descendant anywhere down in the chain. Okay, so let's see what else we have to do. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next exercise. You guys feel like mobbing? You want to work in pairs, work alone? What do you want to do? Yeah, okay. I like mob programming. Hive programming. Okay, let's get started. Who wants to come up here? Melvin, you want to drop?
Sure, if people want to keep running wheel again.
Hecky heck. Can I just open the soft folder? No, I'm just kidding. All right.
What website do you want to scrape?
Hold on, just starting up the file. Using the unsolved file server.js, the Cheerio documentation, what you've learned in class so far, scrape a website of your choice, save information from the page in a result array, and log it into the console.
Pretty much the exact same thing that you saw.
Okie doke. Okay, so
Yeah, Craigslist is probably actually an easy one to scrape.
okay, so
Very simple.
you guys want me to start by getting the URL?
Wait, no. First, open up server.js. Because we're just gonna have to fill in the blanks.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wants us to do New York Times. That's a hard one to scrape because they do a bunch of crazy stuff. They probably are going to do this. Oh, yeah, we can npm install now. That's fine. Yeah.
Wait, but Jonathan, isn't the New York Times the one we're gonna scrape for the homework?
It is. It can be. I don't think we won't take points off if you guys want to scrape another site. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so like do something not like the same way.
Yeah, you guys can scrape whatever site you want. I don't care. And the New York Times may be using this obfuscation method now, too.
If you do npm init -y, if you don't have to do all those steps. Just have to JSON.
Okay.
It didn't have already a package.
It did.
Yeah, so you just.
I'm just doing what I'm told. That's all I'm here for. Okay. I know you're not. I'm just saying. All right. So you guys wanted to switch to Craigslist?
Yes. Let us.
Oops. You doke?
Okay, so now we go to Craigslist and figure out what we want to scrape.
Hold on.
Let's go to the other browser. Google. Oh no, those are all. Close those if you can also break.
Oh yeah, good point. Sorry.
Yeah. It's really
Work. Sorry. All right. What do you guys want to scrape?
So for free, go for free section. Make sure you change the link to Miami.
Okay, she wants to try new jobs.
Okay, so hold on. Let me just. A minute. Just changing this quickly. Okay, you said the jobs? Okay. Okay, guys, what's next? So, should we say, guys?
Yes, okay.
So you see we have the URL. When we put it in the query, it does what kind of request when it puts the data in the URL. Guys. When it puts the data in the URL, when we submit the form, it's a GET request. Right. Good. Glad you guys are on your toes. Okay, so here are all the things. So now we know we don't have to enter that into the form, we can just copy this URL into our scraper, and then we'll have the results for that query.
So I can just start.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
You see how that parameter is called SQ? Guys,
Yeah.
paste in that URL, and you'll see. So you see, what do we think these URL parameters are doing? Because a big important part of scraping is reverse engineering, which is why I sent you guys this hackers thing. What? Search query. Good. That's for Matthew.
That's probably what SQ stands for.
That's what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just said. Okay, so now we have the page we want, we have the search query we want. Now what do we need to do?
Identify a pattern.
Yeah, identify pattern, inspect. Good. So let's do that. Inspect something.
Is there a way to embed this into the page?
Yes, click on the ellipse, yeah, that one, yep, that. Yes, whichever one you want.
Thank you for the freedom of choice.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, so what do you guys want to
This may
say?
be more confusing because it uses iframes. We haven't even really covered iframes because they're so old and kind of arcane. But,
I mean, that's basically what Craigslist is. Craigslist is an old man that just has it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, actually. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's what she said.
I can see that being an actual, like, scat. Like,
Okay, guys, so
okay, so what are we doing, guys? We gotta identify
Look under the section
pattern.
that says search results for class. That's
What are we
probably where
scraping?
you're
Well,
finding
first of all, what are we scraping here? What information do we want to get? That's before we need to know what we're looking for. So
Let's
what-
get the name of the, or the title of the post and
the title, probably not the whole body.
So you mean that? The A
You want
tag?
The whole body of the post or just the title?
yeah, let's just do the title and like the author that's within the last name curve.
Or what he suggested, the title and the link.
Yeah, the title and the link is pretty good. I think that's what the other ones did. So let's see, that's the link. So how do we, can you hit like Control Plus a few times so we can all see the HTML figure?
one
One
second.
more time, one more time.
Sorry, one sec.
Control Plus, yeah. You got it, you got it. You got it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I wanted.
Sorry.
No, you're good. That's good. Okay. So, guys, how do we identify this pattern? So, how do we identify this pattern, guys?
Title and then find
Class article or something.
So let's see. So we have to scroll up a little bit, really, to see what does this container get have.
Actually, it's using like relative refs, so you're gonna have to save the actual beginning of the thing. Like,
What do you mean
in a
refs?
variable to put it together later. Because when you click that, it's just gonna add that question mark.
Oh, gotcha. So yeah, so we need the base URL, but we know it's just Craigslist, so that's fine. From Miami.Craigslist. Okay, so what is the pattern that we need though?
You guys want me to open up the developer window a bit more?
Yeah.
Can you just minimize the bottom panel? Yeah, just hover your mouse like right above, yep. And just minimize that entire section.
Better?
Since we're just kind of moving from the US. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
You need to find all the A's inside the title class.
Is-
Get its text and the ref attribute.
Okay, so
When we do the search.
Okay, sorry, say that again, Mario. Get that.
Inside the title class, then you're gonna find all the A's inside and
And
get
title.
its text and its ref attribute.
Okay, so how can we try this out? Can we try this out in jQuery in the browser console?
Yeah.
If the site is running jQuery, we could just try out the same thing. So let's try that. Let's go to our console tab. If you arrow, Melvin, come down to console. Okay, so we're gonna type what? First, we'll type a $, hit enter. See if,
So that website has jQuery.
well, that's what the first thing we'll find out. That's a good question, Nelson. So enter. Yeah, so just $ enter. Yeah, it does have jQuery, so we can use jQuery. Okay, so tell them what to say.
So $, parentheses, quotations inside parentheses, title. Title, and then outside the parentheses to find. And A inside the quotations. And that will return an array of.
Yes, enter.
Try that.
Let's see.
Okay, and open it. Open the 0 one, the first one. No, the where it says 0.
Index 0.
Yeah,
Sorry.
there, that one. So yeah, to get the text to what you just put, you just add dot text and parentheses.
Okay, so hold on.
Go all the way down.
Let me just close this. I can
I'll go to that part.
just give me 1 sec. Sorry.
It says attributes. All right. Okay. Now do dot for each. Actually, so let's do it all together. Not dot. Yeah.
No, the .each takes a function.
Dot each takes a function, but I'm wondering if it's dot each or dot for each. Dot each is for jQuery.
Okay, so title.find. So what we have to find out is there other things with the class of title that are not the things that we want? So in order to do that, let's expand that list of titles. See the little triangle on the side of all the A's? Just click that. So let's look at the first one.
Can you expand the attributes that HRE has?
When-
Probably the href is inside.
Yeah, the href is, you have to scroll down.
Open up target.
The number 0 says.
No, just
href.
scroll down, just scroll down. Nothing to H. No, back one.
First one at the top, it says. Oh.
Forums.craigslist is the hrefs, that's the forums link. It looks like it should work.
Yeah,
Let's
because
just-
the inner HTML is the title.
Yeah, okay, so this looks pretty solid. So let's go ahead and try this. Now that we have our pattern, title.a,
Then dot each. Parentheses and function. Oh, there we go. Each. Parentheses function. Quotations. Takes I index and L. So
yeah,
curly brackets.
I mean, we can actually do this in Node though, there's no real reason. Although we can try it here and then we can copy it straight into our Node as well, so that's probably good. So go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
Well,
Sorry, hit.
No.
not yet.
We haven't posted it.
Let's console.log. Console.log element. Text. Inside, text parentheses. Oh, another close parentheses.
Text is not a function.
Yes.
Close the-
That element is a jQuery object. It's a jQuery now.
We're using to close the curly bracket.
Yeah, close the curly bracket. And another closing parentheses. The other one.
So the console.log, the element.text, and then the other one is the href, right? So it's just
Yeah.
element.attribute href, and then we have to add the Craigslist.org.
Go before the last element, Melvin. And put a tilde A literal.
Oh,
That one, and then put one at the end before the closing one.
Wait, what is that gonna do?
And then add a dollar sign before the element and put it in curly brackets. Just so we can put everything in one console log.
so you want it like this?
No, up, reverse.
Hold on.
Good job. So everyone, if you don't know what this is ES6 string interpolation, meaning that you can put variables inside your strings. You know how we kind of awkwardly string together strings and variables using plus signs, like hello, my name is plus variable name, stuff like that. Using ES6 string interpolation, you can do it in a much more kind of elegant way.
Go back to before the element though. Where you were. There, and do a dollar sign. Open curly bracket, and then go after the parentheses after text, close the curly bracket, one to the left, there. Close, and then space, and then you can just add the element dot attr in the same fashion, and you can style your string around it.
So you want it like this? Sorry, the mouse keeps moving me out. Hold on. Here.
Do a dash there. A dash.
Yeah, I went to the previous line.
Okay, space, and then another dollar sign, and open and close curly brackets. And then inside, what happened there?
I just cut the other curly bracket.
Elements. Add attr, parentheses, and inside that you're gonna quote quotations, and it would be href.
Run it.
Yeah, try running.
Oh, right, because you can't do that inside there. So you'd have to make it a variable first if you wanted to do the string interpolation. You can't call the text method of it inside the string interpolation. Yeah. So here's what we have to do. Let's try that again, but let's bring that down. Come to before the console log. Let's actually just copy all this and bring it into Sublime. This is making it harder than it has to be. Okay, so let's go ahead and so we have that link now. We have our Cheerio, it's going to take the HTML. We have the empty results array. So what's the first thing we're going to do? We got to find the span tag or the tag of the class of what was it?
Dot title.
Dot title. Okay.
So hold on. So where do you want me to go?
So we could call it. So we're going to change that .h2.story.heading to what? .title space A or .title .find A.
We'll copy what you brought over to use it as a reference.
That's okay. We'll just do it again. That way everyone sees how to do it again. So we're doing title.find A.
Dot title?
Yeah. Now let me ask you as a question. Is there a difference between doing .title.find A or just doing title space A as one CSS selector? They both do the same thing, right? Anyone know which one is quicker? Anyone want to take a guess?
Just using title space A.
Title space A is quicker. Why? Because it uses the selector engine called Sizzle, which is inside of jQuery, which is actually its own thing, which is another project. So if you don't use Sizzle for everything, it has to go back and forth. So you could just do title space A.
Sorry.
That second line there.
Yeah, I'm
title
sorry.
Space A. Dot each. So they're already doing the I-element stuff for it. No. You don't need the dot each. You're good. That already has the dot each.
Okay.
So then the link, we were finding the link. The link is going to be the element.text. So just there on that line 23, just make that element.text. Get rid of the attribute href. Sorry, I don't know why somebody else try.
Don't you have a random person selected.
Good job, Jackie.
Oh.
When you drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean navigate. Navigate.
Oh,
That's
I'm
it.
not having a good day today.
No.
No.
But there's cake and donuts and everything.
I'm allergic to gluten.
Oh, sorry.
That's why you're.
Well, I'm a vegan, so I'm sure you're paying. I can't eat that.
We're going to. Need help.
Okay.
Sammy?
Do you see what we're doing?
Someone phone a friend.
Yeah. No, there's no phone a friend. There won't be a phone a friend when you're at a job interview.
Ask the audience.
There, drop it.
Why are you preparing right now?
Because I don't feel
Why
well.
don't you do something?
Direction for 5
I know, right?
And I'm a 50-50.
You need to have options to have a 50-50.
This is important. This is like some of the most important stuff. You guys can't do this by this point in the course. So let's get somebody else to drive that. Jack. Drive. Margaret, you want to drive? Navigate? No. What are you guys doing?
Research. They're navigating.
Yeah, Nelson. No, why don't you navigate, Nelson? Tell us what to do.
You guys could reference the other stuff, or I can go back to the developer.
Yeah, guys, we already figured out how to do this. We're using element.text to get the link. And that, so we're using element.text in fact to get the title. So that should be backwards, right? Element.text gets us the title. So what's the first thing that we have to do? We got to change the name of that first thing to title. Are you guys all with me?
On the left element, where it says link, change it to title, or just title.
Change it to link. Okay, so what are we using to get the link? We already figured it out. We already have the code right there. Right in front of you. Okay, so the yeah, you guys all need that. Okay.
Like that?
Can you comment out line 17 then, since
I had to get my thoughts together. It's HREF.
It's HREF. Okay, so we got that part done. Now it's the next thing we're gonna do. We're gonna push the results to a results array. Right? Then we're gonna console log the results array. Are we done? Yes? Is this gonna work? Yes? Okay, let's test it out.
Who can do it? What? Yeah, it was that push.
Oh, it's already there? Oh.
Oh, no, we have an error. So how do we find the error?
NPM
Oh, yeah,
install.
you do NPM.
No, you just need to do
NPM
NPM
I.
I, because it's already a dependency.
No,
Just NPM
Control
I.
C. Control C.
Yeah. Because you've already listed all your dependencies in the package. So.
I use the same thing to install.
Yeah.
I still do it too, but it doesn't matter because they just changed it out like a couple months ago.
Every second. I mean, over your like 3 minutes you say.
That's right.
Is when you use one thing to do one time.
Okay.
So that did nothing.
Did we change the URI that we're going to in the script?
No.
URL?
Let's go back and take a look at what's happening here, guys.
I mean,
Checklist, response, error, results. Let's scroll down a bit. Scroll down.
Don't we have to put the URI in front of the HREF because of the question mark?
The URI, wait, where?
Or no?
Where?
If we just get HREF, did it not work because it had a question mark? Maybe I misunderstood.
Where?
Can you scroll up to line 17 again?
The URL is going to perform the data.
It started with a question
Yeah,
mark
they're
in
at
the
the top,
intro.
but we changed them.
Yeah, that's fine. Here, on line 9, that's a valid URL. That should work.
No,
here.
I'm talking about when we're getting the attribute href on line 26. Didn't it start with a question mark?
Well,
Yeah, but it should still give us back something in the
Do
response.
something about it. Console log the HTML that we're getting back. Right at the top there. Yeah.
Copy and paste? No.
HTML.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So here's the problem, guys. Remember I said it might be tricky because of iframes. So can you scroll down a bit more, Melvin? Here, let's see what we're doing. Scroll down a bit. So we have frames. This makes stuff hard for us when we have frames. So we need to get actually the source of this frame here. This one here. Yeah, that's what you were saying?
I didn't know it was in the iframe, but that's what I was going to
Okay, that's different. But yeah, so just this that starts with the question mark, this, and then we're going to take that. Because all we need is the HTML that's inside this frame. I don't know if you guys all know this stuff because you're not familiar with frames. So let's go back to the Craigslist page if you could.
And then we just have to change the question mark with the like forum.craigslist.
That's separate. That's separate. I think you're getting confused between the two things. I'm going to show you guys. So do a like inspect element up here somewhere. See,
Where do you want?
up more, up, scroll up here. Go into the HTML pane and scroll up.
Sorry.
No, not the iframe, the regular. So we're using two different kinds of frames. We have regular frames and then we have iframes. So regular frames came way before iframes. Regular frames are like 1995, like really old, really ugly. Like at first in like the 90s, every site always had iframes and they'd have like the header on top and one iframe and then the nav on the left and another iframe. It was really ugly and sometimes like the content would be too big for the iframe and there'd be scroll bars on the iframe and then these big ugly like dividers and stuff. So of course they still use it here because they Craigslist. But then they use iframes too. So basically, the frames work, you give it a URL for another web page, and it loads the web page inside the frame, and that was useful in the really old days because you could have one header that you could only update like once, and one nav that you could only update once, and that way your page is made up. Now we have much more sophisticated ways of doing that. So that's why just copying that one link from the frame will work, because it will get us just the HTML page that is in this frame. Every frame has its own HTML tag, its own head tag, its own body tag, its own HTML document. So we're displaying multiple HTML documents together on one HTML page. The only HTML document that we're interested in, however, is this one here, right? So that's why we can copy the URL for this one iframe and then just load that using request.
Hiring for React developers and full stack developers. Craigslist.
Go fix everything.
Okay, so let's figure out what we're doing. How are we going to get the URL for this one iframe? Guys, any ideas? You guys can figure this
I
out.
said again it was wrong, so then.
Oh.
Try again. Try again.
Just adds to the URL parameter. It's just another parameter that it adds to.
That's okay. So yeah, the question mark. So there are two separate problems. There's the link that starts the question mark, so we need to add Craigslist.org to the front of it.
Yes,
so
of course.
will work. That's one thing. Thing two is that we need to just get the HTML document for just that one iframe,
okay.
and that has its own separate URL. So we need to figure out what the URL is for the HTML document. That's
Oh,
in
but
the
I was
iframe.
half right about adding it.
Yeah, we can
Okay,
do
sure.
that.
So find the that particular iframe.
This is a good lesson. to
Inspect
not
that
scrape.
Comes up as article if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, scraping gets ugly and they're making it hard. So how do we find the URL for this iframe? First, let's find the iframe tag in our inspector.
Wait, but are you finding the iframe?
No, the frame, the old-fashioned frame. So let's scroll up till we find the old-fashioned frame. It's all the way on top. Yeah. No, that's an iframe. It's all the way up. Keep scrolling up. No.
But what if we just go into our terminal?
Yeah,
Wasn't it-
Yeah, it was showing us it there too, but now we know it's that one. So let's just copy that source. Yeah, just right click and copy. Copy, edit,
Copy link address.
copy link address. Wait, where did you go?
Well, no, yeah, I just didn't do Craigslist. I just went with what they had. Since
Yeah.
it's more tied to the
All right. Well, we're getting more practice this way anyway, which is the point. You guys get to take things apart, reverse engineer how sites are working. This is where programming really gets fun.
So you want me to paste it where?
You're gonna delete from that 7 to the question. And then paste.
Yeah, okay, so let's try this now. That should have solved our problem and that should work, and then we'll do the one other thing that we have to do to add Craigslist.org onto the URL.
Save it.
Yeah, it worked. Okay, so now let's just go ahead and fix those links like we said. We'll just add www.craigslist.org to the front of them, tell them how to do that. Somebody, Lauren, tell them how to fix it.
It's what?
The links. You need Craigslist.org in front of them.
Go to the console.
What's wrong?
Show whoever.
Oh, I thought that's what.
Oh, I thought we were
yeah.
celebrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So it worked, but we just needed to see how we have these links that start with question mark ID. In order for them to work, we're doing www.craigslist.org
Forums.craigslist.
/ this ID.
We just have to.
Uh-huh.
Can we put in a variable and put it in a string literal?
Yeah, or just as a string literal. It's not even a, yeah, it's
Probably
just a
easier to make
string.
a variable.
Yeah, so go ahead, just tell them what to do.
It's the same thing. Variation.
See.
Yeah, or.
Well, yeah. Craigslist, okay, so what is it? HTTP, call it HTTPS, /
Copy it, you already have it at the top.
Yeah, you already have it at the top. I don't think. Yeah, copy.
And you have it twice for some reason?
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Oh.
But how is it gonna work if it has a question mark and not an ampersand?
It starts with a question mark and then are separated by ampersand. The question mark denotes that the parameters
No,
are
I
separate.
know that, but what I'm saying is like if we're adding it to that entire URL, there's already a question mark that exists at the front.
Oh,
Unless
yeah.
we're-
But
we're
you're
just
adding the
using that.
question mark.
You're adding a
Oh,
question
we're just
mark
using
to
that. I thought we were
that,
using
yeah.
the entire URL.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
Just that. So then what's the last step? We just gotta add them together right at the bottom where we're putting together our link. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so we're good. We don't even really need to test this. Let's go ahead and move on to the next exercise.
Do you want me to open this all?
No. We're gonna get a new driver up here. I'm gonna drive for a second. Thank you, Melvin. Okay, so insert animal scraping starter. Okay. More mob programming, guys? You don't want to work individually?
Oh, this one, I think we needed it on.
Portfolios?
Or, wait,
Yeah, that is a.
Looking through it, and it kind of walks us through how to set up the database and scraping.
Oh yeah, so this one we're gonna actually work with the database and do some scraping. Maybe this would be a good one.
But then we have this. Yeah, that's something I was thinking class. That's what I'm saying, like we
So this exercise is just going to be Mongo, no JS, just Mongo. This is just going to be practicing your Mongo stuff again. So go ahead and do it as pairs or small groups. Should be pretty easy.
No, I'm just gonna close it. That's why I wrote this. I don't know this word, maybe.
What's that?
For example, what would I really call it? Design. Panda. Oh,
With 2 eyes.
yeah, it's a rap artist who made a song called Panda.
Oh, really?
Right, exactly. People trying to be cool.
Oh.
Control C. Yes, it's not right. Let's do the same thing. Do sudo space kill all. Mongo D. It's sudo kill all.
You started with Mongo D.
Yeah.
And then you had to shut your D.
Yeah, because you did sudo, so you have to tell the password. Try Mongo services. See, it's running. That's it. And then open up another tab and run Mongo, and then you start.
Okay, so the leaving this in this.
That's what it is.
Hello. Oh, you have please. There you go. Sorry. Yeah.
It's like a homework.
Oh, you don't need them to give information.
Yeah.
To sudo Mongo.
But it's somewhere else.
That's what we wanted to do.
So now you should go. Get rid of that.
Yeah.
Your security seems to be like really tight.
I like that.
It is. When I was reading the homework, I said, look at
So,
exactly
okay.
lessons.
Oh no, okay, so there's two things, right? There's MongoDB, right? That sends up the Mongo server.
That makes sense.
But then you need to connect to the server, you just plug it, and that's with Mongo. So type in Mongo. And you see it's gonna connect to your database. Now you're connected, now run your commands.
Did you notice how on this second thing?
MongoDB, so the server connects to
Because of the Amazon,
Very. For typical, the average rate is 150 to 200.
What? For a Panda? Is that in kilos?
Oh, kilos. Ounce?
You guys don't take it over Google?
I think I will because that's ridiculous. Is this for pandas?
No, no way.
That is a miniature panda.
Yeah, that's gotta be like one of those red pandas.
Length is 5 to 6 females, slightly less than females. And males range 175 to 250.
None of my animals are gonna have legs.
That's so sad.
Special needs suit.
No, they have fins.
They have fish.
I have legs. My favorite animal is a tiger shark. It doesn't have fins. That has usually. But you also
Okay, guys. We are running a little bit behind on time since we spent more time on programming.
class is. What's the class? We're just turning
Okay, guys, when you feel like you've got enough animals or whatever, go ahead and move on to the next exercise. Sorting, we're going to go over it as a class, sort of. No pun intended.
About 500. I'm guessing.
Oh, I love sloths.
Oh, no, because I said.
Too much in the week.
How much does it cost you?
Yeah.
You got your way.
Again, large range, 8.8 to 33 pounds.
8 points.
Okay, guys, here's the next thing you guys are going to do. We are going to figure out how to sort. Everyone, can you pay attention up here, please, or pay attention to your own example number 8, sorting. This is how you make Mongo sort things, because you have records. It will give you back lists of records when you find your animals like that. It'll give you back all the animals. You can print them out pretty if you want to. We know how to do that. Now we can also sort it. So we can pick what thing we want to sort by. We can sort by the ID. We can sort by the number of legs. We can sort by the class, etc. You guys all see how this works? There's a sort method. It sorts stuff. Try it out on your own.
Between ID1 and ID2, just ascending or descending.
Ascending or descending, yeah.
Good question.
Yeah, that is a good question, Sam. Sorry I missed that.
I'm not looking for compliments on my question. It's just the information that I'm.
Great job, Sam. How noble.
You can do better next time.
Okay, I'll really think about my question.
Yeah.
The next one will be like, what does the font say? I'm sorry, no.
I like that. And so you really don't know that fantasy?
What would you really call a CI?
Holy
Did you see
crap.
their joke though? Like in their slime for the panda example, they know what I would really call it. They wrote designer.
Oh, call a CI.
One pregnant tiger shark
She only knows
that they caught off of Australia
It's hard to write along
weighed
with it.
3,000 pounds.
Okay, did everybody sort stuff? Anybody not sort stuff? Anybody not get it to work? John, did you get it to work? You got the sorting to work. Martha, you got it to work? Okay, great. We're going to move on. You guys are doing great. Yeah. So let's see what we're doing here. So now we have a pretty long, let's see how much time I give you guys for this. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and introduce MongoJS now. MongoJS is this library we've been talking about. So you guys want a mob on this one? Let's see how much time we have for this. Or we could go, now might be a good time to break also, and we could come back and get through the rest of the stuff. I mean, it's 7:50. We usually break at 8. It's 10 minutes early. I mean.
Take a break the last 20 minutes.
No, we're going to take a break now. That's fine. Or do you guys want to go for another 20 minutes? It's up to you. It's your class. You guys want to go for another 20 minutes or break?
Break.
Break? Okay. I'm hearing break. Okay, back in 20 minutes. Back at 8:08.
I know, right on. It's there technically, that's the line. Right, but I made the thing so thick, it's 66 pixels. It should be able to see like really thick like. See, like that's how it should look like. See? Oh no, wait. That's not that.
I was looking at the site today for something else.
Okay, so.
Sorry, can you use iPhone? They have a charger function.
I think that line pertains to
You're the only one in this class with this.
or here, remove all of them.
Wait, hold on, sorry. So if I name and it's Sunday.
Wow. Okay, we still don't know why. I mean, this thing should have border right.
Wait, is that one there on full screen?
This thing has a charge on your phone. See? It shows up here. This is only by its message.
Yeah.
But see, that's there. When I go here, boom, it's done.
I know, I don't.
Thank you. I'll bring it back.
In the world.
I'll find you, Elliot. I know where you've been.
Some sort of.
Can you imagine? I knock on your door. Hi, I'm like
That would be pretty
charger.
awesome.
No, that would be a little weird. I mean, you know.
It would be that weird awesome, like, she's scraped the order for my homeowners.
Feel fine. T-body. It's only the right one. It's so weird.
And then, they're like,
So if I do,
Like girls on
let me try to do order everything.
they only see that for like the ugly people. But when the cute people are looking at them, then it's okay. So,
You don't want to, you can get rid of it.
Yeah.
I can just do a border bond. So just a break.
Oh, dividing it. Yeah, let me try.
Instead of trying to get like
Yeah, so that is in the separate.
that would be nice too, just like one line at the bottom.
It's like that.
Yeah. And then a line in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. So you're
Which
right.
would be nice.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically I have to
All that
remove.
text.
So. This is the one. This is under.
Vamos, pero vamos.
500.
No, sí, es first.
All the class?
That way it works. It looks fine. It's just when you get smaller. Yeah. So we'll do just the.
No, it's
One more
not.
here. We'll see.
Yeah, the class is Alex for birds. It's their class.
Weird.
Yes, because the classifications are all Latin. Huh?
Two.
No, reptiles not class. Is it?
What?
Yes.
Reptile?
Yes.
No, red, no.
Reptiles are a class.
Yeah, it's in the class.
I read
No, the class is reptilia. So the class will always be Latin, but the way we, in common language, yeah, it's just reptiles.
And cover
No,
cheese. Ours.
Just like mammals is how we say it, but familia is the actual class.
En español, pero en inglés
Shows two rows.
No, but aves is the class. It's
Well,
Latin.
only for the left one. I want to keep the bottom.
Oh, okay. Well, I know. We try.
Border bottom, right in the border left.
Sit down.
Right, yeah, no, or else if I remove it, it'll keep you. You shouldn't have to. That's not what happens. The table, the table's off. So it's like, because these columns I think are really big, they go off the screen. So, yeah, it's up to the bottom. Why are these off? So I should do. Oh, because I have. Yeah, it's padding overall, so that's what I 100%. 96, but it's not 96. Yeah, this is horrible, dude. This thing started off as a normal table, like a normal table. And added
Just keep going at it.
Yeah.
I can wait to see something.
Six.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I have blank unintentionally.
I was so scared when I saw that. No,
There we go. This color. Correct. Almost correct.
I'll settle for mistake. Because I'm like we end up failing someone else at some point.
That's okay, we're all human.
Two.
Evening, guys.
Hey, what's up?
At any point, are we gonna cover today how to incorporate the MongoDB with Heroku, or no?
Heroku.
And that, yeah, because I was reading the instructions. I just wanted to.
Yeah, but focus on Mongo for now, and then once you're ready to configure for Lab, it's just a simple plugin. Privacy how but like whatever you have local won't be saved on Heroku. So it's like you're starting out from fresh.
Right.
There are tools that you can use to help manage that. Mongo has its own tools called Mongo Import and Mongo Export, so you can import and export the stuff that's on your MLab to your local and back and forth. And then there are even other tools to make it even easier for you.
Okay. Because I just got a chance to skim through the instructions, so I'm just asking for clarification.
Yeah, that's all. It's going to be a lot like what we did with MySQL.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah, it's just a Heroku plugin. What are you guys looking at?
Yeah, so we're
Websites.
they're so we'll hit into one issue.
What theme are you using?
A blank theme. Sorry for your start. Yeah.
Yeah, you show me that for this one, right? Figure your website for.
I hate WordPress. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Me neither. This guy wanted it on where he was like, work.
Well, I guess the content management system is where you go first and like.
Yeah, because he updates the show every single week. So I had to write a script because he puts everything on Eventbrite. So I wrote him a script that he runs so it goes to his Eventbrite, scrape through the lists, yeah, and then download it. So all he does is like he goes here to import, and he uploads the file that my script throws out, and that's it. That's all it is. So
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
really happy with that. Yeah. I have a script that looks through his Eventbrite. Downloads everything.
And so he just has to include the photo